Just take us a minute. Okay, through you, Mr. Chair. Sorry. Sorry about that. Through you, Mr. Chair, I can confirm that it is 4 p.m. and we are now live streaming and recording. You may begin your meeting.
Okay, welcome everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order and declare quorum is present. Jody, may you begin with the hearing of the land recognition statement.
Of course. The town of Pelham is situated on treaty land steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Ha-de-Wenderong, Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island live and work in Niagara. The town of Pelham stands in solidarity with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, acknowledging that our high standard of living is a result of the resources and lasting friendship of the Indigenous peoples. Through you, Mr. Chair, you may proceed with your introduction.
Thank you. So I just want to let everyone know who's here today so we're all on the same page. I'm the chair. My name is John Kappa. To my right, I have Brenda Stan as a member of the committee, and to my left, Colin McCann. The Assistant Secretary Treasurer is Jody, to my right. Shannon LaRock is the Planning Manager. The Planner, Andrew Edwards, and Engineering Manager Derek Young, and Director of Community Planning and Development, Pam Doosling. Is that right? Great, thank you. Okay, opening statements. So this is a hybrid hearing of the Committee of Adjustment for the Town of Pelham. Everyone present and viewing at home via live stream will be given an opportunity to comment on the applications being heard. Agencies commenting on applications may request that certain conditions be imposed should an application be approved. Voicing objections to these conditions will not adversely affect the committee's decision. The purpose of the application and relative correspondence will be heard, following which the applicant will be given the opportunity to address the application. During the public portion of each application, we will hear from anyone wishing to submit verbal comments or submit a written comment via email to clerks@pelham.ca. Comments received following the public portion will not be considered. At the conclusion of the discussion, the committee will render a decision and advise of any applicable conditions. Specific wording for conditions may be determined by the committee following the hearing. Copies of decisions will be mailed to the applicant agent and members of the public that have submitted comments. Notices of decision can also be obtained by request through the Secretary Treasurer. Committee members are asked to raise your hand if you would like to speak and vote. Applicants, agents, and attendees are advised that they are free to leave the webinar hearing once a decision has been made on their application. Committee members, I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda?
And seconded.
Okay. One other area that's important, does any member of this panel have a pecuniary interest in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act in any of the applications to be considered at this hearing?
I have none.
And I have none.
And I do not have either. Thank you. Ms. Assistant Secretary Treasurer, are there any requests for withdrawal or adjournment?
There have not been any requests for withdrawal or adjournment.
Okay, so our first application this afternoon is, I just need to say it here, file A4-2025P 274-280 Canberra Road, Pelham.
Okay.
could you please go ahead and read the summary? Thank you.
Just wait for the presentation to come up. Perfect. The Town of Pelham is holding hybrid Committee of Adjustment hearings. A hybrid hearing involves a mixture of in-person and remote attendance and participation. The following presentations are based on the Town of Pelham's Planning Department report and analysis. Please note that no decisions have been made prior to this public hearing. All comments received from commenting agencies and the public have been forwarded in full to the Committee of Adjustment members for their consideration and will appear summarized on the slides. Decorum. The Committee of Adjustment is a formal public hearing requiring decorum, meaning all comments are to be made through the chair. If you have pre-registered to speak virtually or are participating in person, you'll be given an opportunity to address the committee at the public portion of the meeting. If someone ahead of you has made the same comments, there is no need to repeat. Please keep all comments concise. If you are live streaming and wish to submit a comment live, please email clerks@pelham.ca. Please note, comments must be received during the public portion of the meeting, otherwise they will not be considered, and inappropriate comments will not be tolerated. If decorum is lost, the meeting may be recessed and the persons will be asked to leave. We will now share and proceed with the presentation for the committee's consideration. So application for minor variance, file A4-2025P, relating to 278 Canberra Road, 274 to 280 Canberra Road. Excerpts from the planning report include: the subject land is located on the south side of Canberra Road, lying east of Effingham Street, legally described above, and known locally as 274 to 280 Canberra Road in Pelham. The application has been submitted for a minor variance under Section 45, subsection 2 of the Planning Act to permit the expansion of legal non-conforming vehicle service and repair establishment. Section 45(2) of the Planning Act authorizes the Committee of Adjustment to extend legal non-conforming use, provided the use has been continuous and the extension does not exceed the limits of the land owned and is used in connection with the use as of the day the zoning bylaw was passed. Section E2 of the town's official plan provides the policy base for non-conforming uses. This section states, in some instances, it may be necessary and practical to allow non-conforming use replacement, extension, or enlargement by granting a minor variance. Policy consideration 1, the size of the extension in relation to the existing operation, existing use and history, vehicle service and repair shop in continuous operation since 1984 with legal non-conforming status. Proposed change is that the building will be used for storage only, no mechanical work. Site details: the existing garage is 332 square meters, outdoor storage currently used for materials and trailers. The purpose of the storage building is to reduce outdoor storage, improve site appearance, and better integrate with surrounding land use. Compliance and impact: supports rather than expands non-conforming use. Deemed appropriate by staff given property size and operation scale. Consideration 2, whether the proposed extension is compatible with the character of the surrounding area. Site improvements: reduces outdoor storage, enhancing appearance, and blending with surrounding land uses. Maintains non-conforming status: the storage building supports existing use without expansion or intensification. Minimizes impact, helps contain noise, and prevents disturbances to neighbors. No increased demand. Traffic, noise, and service levels remain unchanged as no repair work will take place in the new building. Context and compatibility: located in a mixed residential commercial area with placement at the rear to minimize streetscape impact. Consideration 3, the characteristics of the existing use in relation to noise, vibration, fumes, dust, smoke, odors, lighting, and traffic generation, and the degree to which any of these factors may be increased or decreased by the extension. Noise assessment findings. Study confirms no impact on nearby residential properties. Equipment use. Only a single tow motor will be operated inside the storage building. Compliance. No noise control measures required to meet MECP standards. Minimal impact. No added noise, emissions, or disruptions to neighboring properties. Strategic placement. Rear location minimizes sightline interference with residential and commercial properties. Traffic and parking. No significant increases expected. Overall benefit. Helps contain noise and reduce outdoor storage, improving site aesthetics and minimizing disturbances. Policy consideration 4, the possibilities of reducing these nuisances through buffering, building setbacks, landscaping, site plan control, and other means to improve the existing situation, as well as minimize the problems from extension. Setbacks and zoning, building exceeds required rear and side yard setbacks in the village commercial zone. Site plan control, application required to address buffering and landscaping, existing buffering. There is berm present along southern and eastern property lines. To date, the following comments have been received. For the building division, see condition. Public Works Department, the site drains toward Canberra Road and is to remain granular with no hard surfacing proposed. The proposed storage building will not negatively affect the stormwater drainage to adjacent properties. Niagara Region comments, regional staff are unable to support the application until a private sewage system inspection is completed and it is confirmed that the existing septic system meets the Ontario Building Code requirements, and see condition. One public comment was received, and it is summarized as follows. No concerns with the continuance of the legal non-conforming use or with the construction of the storage building in the proposed location. Expressed concern with current surface water drainage causing erosion on neighboring property as a result of the berm in the corner of the property. Recommended a drainage plan be prepared for the property. Based on the analysis, the planning staff is of the opinion that the proposed variance is consistent with the provincial planning statement, the Greenbelt Plan, and the regional official plan, subject to the condition related to private servicing, and that the proposed building is appropriate. Planning staff recommend that application A4-2025P be approved subject to the following conditions. Enter into a site plan agreement with the town to the satisfaction of the Director of Community Planning and Development. Obtain all necessary building permits before construction commences to the satisfaction of the chief building official. Complete an on-site inspection of the existing sewage system and obtain approval from Niagara Region that the new building will meet the Ontario Building Code setbacks from the sewage systems on-site. To you, Mr. Chair, the agent, Mr. David Sabaris, and the applicant, Mr. Kevin Peets, have joined us today.
Okay. Okay, please, come on up if you would like to, should I pose a motion? No, okay, thank you. Just please state your name.
Kevin Pitts.
Thank you. Do you have a statement for us or anything that you'd like to
Nothing
present?
at
Or
all,
just
just-
here to answer questions?
Just to answer questions and
Okay.
to address the community, so. if anything.
Sure, okay. I mean, in some of my recent experiences, the one thing that I've noticed is that there's not a really clear distinction between the drainage situation and then the septic kind of assessment, right? And I guess my question is just out there, how will these take care of themselves, or?
The septic, as soon as the frost alleviates a little bit, we're hoping within this week to next week to dig and satisfy the region's request for
Okay.
the septic 100%. That's not a problem at all. As for the drainage, I think the site plan and stuff will speak for itself, that the water is always naturally drained that way. I also have aerial photographs and stuff of previous years. The current state of the property in the back has been there for 15 years.
Okay.
I have site maps from us starting at about 2010. As far as major changes, I haven't seen any changes as far as that goes. We put the culvert in to obviously allow the drainage versus it running down the driveway and causing damage to Canberra Road or further stuff north of the property. So.
Sure, please go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, you say the culverts are installed, so in the area where the new building is proposed, where will those culverts be directing water to?
I believe that should be on the site plan as far as figuring out exactly where everything's gonna go. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's supposed to be full of stone and allow the water drainage to happen naturally and still cause that flow.
Yeah, I guess only because the one comment we did receive was concerning drainage to the south of the property.
Yes,
Is that where the drainage is proposed to go, or?
that it will be affecting the whole area as far as where the building's gonna sit. And as far as the drainage, yes, it will follow the original spot of where it always has been.
Okay, which has been to, again, remind,
To that corner where that culvert is.
Yeah.
The culvert is there in the relation that that's where all the water went before.
okay, so it's north, south or east, or where is it going?
Oh, where the water's traveling, it's traveling south.
Yeah, sorry?
It is traveling south,
It is traveling south?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I still a little bit, maybe I'll ask the staff here. Are we comfortable with these assessments happening before we go ahead and, approve anything? Because they're conditional, right? I mean, if we're confident, then I'd like to maybe hear that. Anyone else have any comments on that or questions?
No, Mr. I agree. That's a question I was going to pose.
If I may, there's also one thing, we have additional inspections done by approved contractor beforehand, and I know the region now wants to have their own eyes and stuff on it. That is correct.
Okay.
I believe in the notes we've had Zaworski Brothers come out, check it. We have pictures and photographs supplied in the previous notes and stuff to the building permit, sorry. Showing and with a signature and everything signed
Sure.
to it, if that helps at all.
Yeah, the only reason being that existing event that happened to this neighbor is happening with the current setup, right? So how are we going to alleviate, it'd be nice to get a way to alleviate that problem or make sure that that's,
I'm not sure where you're getting, there isn't a problem.
Right.
That has been there since the day we moved in. All
Right.
the water naturally drains that way.
right,
There,
okay.
yeah. There has been no erosion that I have seen.
Through the chair, I think if you review the planning staff comments, they indicate that Public Works did have a look at the drainage issues and confirm that the drainage is toward Canberra Road and away from the neighboring property to the south.
Right, so they're saying it's going towards the road and he's saying it's going south, right?
If you look at the site plan, I don't know if the site plan can be brought up at all. Basically, in the middle of the property is kind of the peak of, or the crown of the hill, if you will. So about a third of the property will drain to the south, or the 2/3 will drain to the north.
Got it,
So
okay,
only a third of it is draining towards the back.
okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I may, I'm not sure if the member of the public who submitted a comment is here to provide a little bit more detail. I'm not sure if they're available or not.
Okay.
Sorry, she is not in attendance, and I don't see any inquiry online as well.
Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Please just state your name and, yeah.
yeah, Robert Cook, National Building Group. So the question always comes with drainage is critical on erosion. So there's theoretically no change on what's been happening, because you're saying 15 years. There's no real change in that water dispersion on that property, how it sits.
Okay.
Because we did look at that as well, just as a group, looking at the property. So I don't believe that question is validated here only because of the performance of the property over the last 15 years. We don't see any erosion, you know, like everything, systems go.
I also have Niagara Regional maps showing the natural drainage occurring in 2 different spots in our area in the vicinity that also causes the drainage to go south. I would love to be able to force water uphill, but I wouldn't,
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't be a mechanic if that was the case.
No, it's just important that we consider all the options at these critical points, right? So that we don't have to go back, or we don't have to, you know, hold up the process, whatever it is. We just want to make sure we've kind of looked at all the angles. As long as, you know, I mean, staff has made a couple different points on the, what they require. Does anyone have any other concerns?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I guess we approached it, and then I guess we got sort of sidetracked. I
Yes.
just, I see that we're being asked for a site plan agreement, which does mention the berming and the landscaping in the immediate area. Does that at least indirectly impact any concerns that might touch on drainage?
Through you, Mr. Chair. At this time, Public Works staff have indicated that they don't require a log grading and drainage plan as part of the site plan approval application. Mr. Young is here, though, so perhaps he'd like to expand on that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the reason we're not requiring the grading and drainage is a lot of it is a soft surface. It's granular material. So a lot of the water soaks into the ground. If the area was going to be hard paved, like asphalt or something like that, absolutely we'd need to do some kind of drainage. Speaking to the owner, historically the berm wasn't there. They put the berm up to control the runoff that was coming from this site heading south. And kind of, if you look at the berm, it's there to contain it and control the discharge from the site at that one point, rather than, if you look at it, it's predominantly in the area where the workshop is. So the concern regarding the spills and all that will be contained within that berm before it discharges. But the new addition to the building and a lot of the granular material around it, a lot of the runoff will be, you know, going back into the ground. It will be recharged in the ground. That was the reason we don't want to unnecessarily make someone do a grading and drainage plan when, you know, the construction methodologies, they're putting a slab on grade. So they're not even digging into the ground. They're putting a slab on top of the ground. They're not really changing the profile. They're literally just dropping something on top. So they're not going to be changing the grading. They're not going to be changing the profile of the land. They're literally just putting a slab on top of what's there.
Okay, thank you. Well, that helps a bit. That helps, because we're just trying to understand the reason why either it wasn't included but kind of mentioned, you know, so just to make it clear. So based on that, I mean, I'm comfortable with what I've heard so far. Any other questions from anyone? Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, to that end, I would like to add the fact that we are adding and extending a bit more gravel around the building just to accommodate proper water flow at the customer's expense.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
I move we close the public portion.
And I'll second it.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm going to just check the emails.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. Okay. Okay, so I can confirm it is 4:24 PM, and we have received no emails, and therefore, we would now be looking for the motion to close the public portion of the meeting and move to committee input.
And now I move we close the public portion.
And I second the motion.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, we have a motion moved and seconded, and we'd be seeking a motion and the reasons for approval.
Okay. With regards to file A4 2025P 274-280 Canberra Road in Pelham, an application for minor variance and relief pursuant to Section 45 Sub 2 of the Planning Act to permit the expansion of legal non-conforming vehicle service and repair establishment. I move this motion be granted for the following reasons. 1, the application satisfies the Planning Act and the town policy E2-non-conforming uses. 2, no adverse impacts are anticipated for the surrounding area. 3, the proposed expansion is compatible with the area's character, and the construction is not anticipated to increase the negative impact. 4, the application is granted without prejudice to any other application in the town of Pelham. 5, the Committee of Adjustment has considered the written and oral comments and agrees with the minor variance report analysis and recommendation that this application meets the Planning Act and requirements for minor variance. And 6, the applicant is aware that an on-site inspection of the existing sewage systems must be completed to obtain approval from Niagara Region private servicing staff that the new building will meet minimum Ontario Building Code setbacks for the sewage systems on site. The following conditions: that the applicant, 1, obtain all necessary building permits prior to construction commencing to the satisfaction of the chief building official. 2, enter into a site plan agreement with the town to the satisfaction of the Director of Community Planning and Development. And 3, complete an on-site inspection of the existing sewage systems and obtain approval from Niagara Region private servicing staff that the new building will meet minimum Ontario Building Code setbacks from the sewage systems on site.
And I second the motion.
So if we could get a formal vote on the matter, if all are in favor?
Vote aye.
Yes.
I as well.
Okay, thank you. So through you, Mr. Chair, we're looking for approval of minutes.
I move that we approve the previous minutes.
And I second it.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, that brings us to adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Can I get a seconder on that?
I second that motion.
Thank you.